Marry me, and I promise you this will never feel real. The words hang in the air like something too sharp to touch, too cold to ignore, and Lena Hayes feels them before she fully understands them. Standing there beneath the soft glow of a $10,000 crystal chandelier in a penthouse that overlooks all of Manhattan, 32 floors above a city that never slows down, never waits, never cares. Her fingers tremble just slightly as she stares at the man in front of her, Adrian Cole, a name that carries weight in every boardroom, every headline, every whispered conversation about power and money. A man who built an empire before he turned 35, who is known for never losing, never bending, never needing anyone. And yet here he is offering her a diamond ring that catches the light like something alive, something dangerous, something binding. Lena swallows, her throat dry, her heart pounding louder than the distant hum of traffic below. And for a second, she wonders if he can hear it, if he can see through her carefully controlled expression, because everything about this moment feels wrong, unreal, like stepping into a life that was never meant to be hers. And yet she cannot look away. Adrian's voice remains calm, measured, as if he's discussing a merger instead of a marriage. 1 year. Public appearances. No emotional obligations. You follow the terms, you walk away with financial security. That's it. He slides the contract across the polished glass table, the paper crisp, the ink already waiting for her name, and Lena's eyes drop to it, scanning the lines even though she already knows what it says, already knows what it means, because this isn't just a deal, it's a shield, a disguise, a chance to disappear in plain sight. Somewhere deep in her coat pocket, her phone vibrates once, sharp and brief, like a warning she cannot ignore, and her breath catches as a flicker of fear crosses her face. Before she forces it down, burying it beneath something quieter, something obedient, because fear is not something Adrian Cole tolerates, not in business, not in people. You don't have to decide now, he adds, though his tone suggests otherwise, suggests that he already knows she will say yes, because men like him always assume control, always assume the outcome. And for a moment Lena wants to refuse, wants to walk away from the deal, from the man, from the illusion of safety this offer promises, but then the phone vibrates again, longer this time, and she doesn't need to look to know what it means, doesn't need to read the message to feel the pressure closing in around her like a vice tightening slowly, steadily, leaving no room to breathe. Her fingers curl slightly against the edge of the table as she lifts her gaze back to Adrian, studying his face, the sharp lines, the unreadable eyes, the calm confidence of someone who has never had to run from anything in his life. And something shifts inside her, something quiet but decisive, because maybe he doesn't know what he's offering. Maybe he thinks this is just another transaction, but for her it's something else entirely, something bigger, something necessary. Lena reaches for the pen, the weight of it heavier than it should be, and as she signs her name in slow, deliberate strokes, she feels the line between truth and lie blur just a little more, feels herself step fully into a role she cannot afford to break, not now, not ever. And when she finally looks up, meeting Adrian's gaze, there is a softness in her expression that wasn't there before, a carefully crafted calm that hides everything beneath it. Adrian nods once, satisfied, as if the deal has been sealed exactly as expected, as if nothing about this arrangement could possibly go wrong. And Lena offers a faint, almost convincing smile, even as her hand drifts subtly back toward her pocket, toward the phone that now rests silent but far from forgotten, because somewhere out there, beyond the glass walls of this perfect, untouchable world, a secret is waiting, watching, and it is only a matter of time before it follows her here. The contract is still warm in her hands when the elevator doors close with a soft, final chime, sealing Lena inside a mirrored box that begins its slow descent from the 32nd floor. And for the first time since she signed her name, the silence presses in on her hard enough to crack the calm she had been holding together. She exhales slowly, watching her reflection ripple in the polished steel walls, a woman who now wears a diamond ring that feels heavier with every passing second, a stranger staring back with composed eyes that hide too much. Her phone vibrates again, sharper this time, and she does not hesitate as she slips it from her coat pocket, her fingers steady even though her pulse is not, and the screen lights up with a message that has no name attached. only a number she knows too well, a number she has tried to forget, a number that has followed her across states, across identities, across every attempt to start over. You should not have done that. The message reads, simple and cold, and Lena's stomach tightens as she presses her lips together, her thumb hovering for a moment before she types back, I am exactly where you wanted me to be. And the reply comes almost instantly, as if they had been waiting, as if they had been watching. Then do not forget why you are there. And just like that, the line goes silent again, leaving behind a tension that hums beneath her skin, a reminder that this was never just about survival. It was about timing, about staying one step ahead, about playing a role so convincing that even someone like Adrian Cole would never question it. The elevator doors slide open into the private lobby, and Lena straightens her posture, slipping the phone away as if it had never existed, as if none of that conversation had just happened. And when she steps out into the marble-floored space, she is already someone else again, already Mrs. Cole in the making, already the woman the world will see, not the one who checks over her shoulder when no one is looking. Upstairs, Adrian stands by the floor-to-ceiling windows, hands resting lightly against the glass as he watches the city stretch endlessly below him. But his mind is not on the skyline. It is on her, on the way she hesitated just half a second too long before signing, on the flicker in her expression that did not match the rest of her carefully controlled demeanor. And Adrian does not believe in coincidences, not in business, not in people, not in anything that involves risk. And Lena Hayes, now Lena Cole, is a risk he has chosen deliberately, which means he intends to understand every detail of it. He turns slightly as his assistant steps quietly into the room, tablet in hand. You asked for a background check, she says, professional and precise, and Adrian nods once, his gaze still distant. Everything available, he replies, his voice calm but firm. I want to know who she was before she walked into this room. Because something about her does not fit. Something about her is too careful, too measured, too practiced, and men like Adrian Cole do not build empires by ignoring instincts like that. Down in the lobby, Lena pauses just for a second before stepping out into the night air, the cool breeze brushing against her face as the city lights blur slightly in her vision, and she allows herself exactly one breath, one moment of honesty, one silent acknowledgement of the line she just crossed, because from this point on, there is no turning back, no safe exit, no simple ending. She glances once at the ring on her finger, the way it catches the glow of the streetlights, and then she lifts her chin, her expression settling into something calm, something controlled, something that will survive whatever comes next. Because if Adrian Cole thinks he just signed a contract, he is wrong. And if the people watching her think she is exactly where they want her, they are wrong too. And somewhere between those two lies is the truth she is holding on to, the truth that could either save her or destroy everything she has just stepped into. By the next morning, the world already knows her name, even though she barely recognizes it herself, because Lena Hayes no longer exists in the way she used to. And in her place stands Lena Cole, the unexpected new wife of one of the most powerful men in the city, her face quietly appearing across business blogs, social media feeds, and morning news segments that speak about the marriage like it was inevitable, like it was strategic, like it made perfect sense. And yet none of them know the truth. None of them see the way she stands alone in the corner of Adrian's penthouse bedroom, staring at a walk-in closet filled with designer dresses she did not choose, shoes she has never worn, a life that feels curated down to the smallest detail. She reaches out and brushes her fingers across a silk sleeve, the fabric smooth and expensive beneath her touch, and for a moment, she almost lets herself feel it, the illusion of safety, the illusion of belonging. But then she pulls her hand back as if it might burn her, because nothing about this is real, nothing about this is hers. A soft knock at the door breaks the silence, and before she can respond, it opens to reveal a woman in her early 40s, composed, efficient, someone who clearly belongs in this world. Good morning, Mrs. Cole, she says with a polite smile, holding a tablet close to her chest. I am Victoria, Mr. Cole's executive assistant. I will be helping you prepare for today. And Lena nods once, forcing a calm she does not feel as she steps further into the room. Prepare for what? She asks quietly, even though she already suspects the answer. and Victoria's smile widens just slightly. Your first public appearance, of course. The Cole Foundation Gala is tonight, 8 p.m., black tie, press will be present. And just like that, the reality of this arrangement sharpens into something immediate, something unavoidable, because this is the part where she becomes visible, where she becomes real in the eyes of everyone else, not just Adrian. Upstairs in his private office, Adrian stands behind his desk, flipping through a digital file projected across the glass surface, his expression unreadable as line after line of information scrolls past, or rather, fails to scroll, because what should be there is not, what should be simple is not, and what should be obvious is anything but. His assistant stands nearby, her posture straight, her tone careful. There is very little on her, she admits. No consistent employment history, no stable address, no recent records beyond the last few months, and Adrian's eyes narrow slightly, not in frustration, but in interest, because absence of information is not emptiness, it is intention, it is design, it is someone who does not want to be found. Keep digging, he says simply, his voice low but certain. No one is that invisible without a reason. And as the file closes with a quiet flicker, he finds himself thinking not about the contract, not about the deal, but about the moment she looked at him after signing. That calm, controlled expression that did not quite match the fear he had caught just beneath it, because that is where truth lives, in the space between what people show and what they hide. Back in the dressing room, Lena stands in front of a full-length mirror as stylists move around her, adjusting fabric, smoothing hair, perfecting details that feel almost surreal, her reflection transforming piece by piece into someone polished, someone flawless, someone who could stand beside Adrian Cole without question, and yet her eyes remain the same, steady but distant, focused on something no one else can see. Her phone rests hidden in the inner pocket of her new evening clutch, silent for now, but never truly gone, and as the final touches are made, as the last pin is set into place, Lena takes a slow breath, lifting her chin just slightly, because tonight is not just about appearances, it is about survival, about maintaining the illusion long enough to stay ahead of whatever is coming. And as she steps away from the mirror, ready to walk into a room filled with cameras, expectations, and a man who is already beginning to question her, she knows one thing with absolute certainty. The closer she gets to him, the harder it will be to keep the truth hidden, and the more dangerous it will become when it finally comes to light. The ballroom glows like a world designed to impress. Soft golden light, cascading from towering chandeliers, crystal glasses catching reflections like fragments of something perfect, something untouchable. And as Lena steps into the Cole Foundation Gala on Adrian's arm, she feels every eye in the room shift toward them, curious, calculating, measuring her worth in a single glance. The press cameras flash in controlled bursts, not chaotic but deliberate, capturing the image they expect to see. The powerful CEO and his elegant new wife, a pairing that makes sense on paper even if it feels anything but real beneath the surface. Adrian's hand rests lightly at the small of her back, steady, guiding, not possessive but precise, as if even this gesture is part of the contract, part of the performance. And Lena matches his pace without hesitation, her posture flawless, her expression composed, every movement calculated down to the smallest detail. "Stay close," he murmurs quietly, his voice low enough that only she can hear, and she nods almost imperceptibly, her gaze fixed ahead even as she feels the weight of the room pressing in, the expectations, the scrutiny, the unspoken questions about who she is and why she is here. They stop near the center of the ballroom where a cluster of executives and donors gather, their smiles polished, their greetings warm but layered with curiosity. And Lena listens carefully as Adrian introduces her. "My wife, Lena." Simple, direct, no elaboration. And yet the word wife lingers in the air longer than it should, heavier than it has any right to be. A woman in an emerald gown steps forward, her tone light but edged with interest. "We were not expecting such a surprise, Adrian," she says, her eyes flicking briefly over Lena, assessing, and for a moment the silence stretches just enough to become noticeable, just enough to test the illusion, and this is where it could falter, where it could break, but Lena does not hesitate. She smiles, calm and effortless, Neither was I. She replies, her voice steady, warm, perfectly measured. But sometimes the most unexpected things turn out to be exactly what you need. And the tension dissolves almost instantly, replaced by soft laughter, subtle approval, the kind that signals acceptance without question. And Adrian glances at her briefly, something unreadable passing through his eyes, something that feels dangerously close to impressed. The conversation flows from there, shifting to the foundation, to upcoming projects, to numbers and impact and influence. And when a donor raises a concern about a delayed initiative, Lena steps in without waiting, her tone thoughtful but confident as she offers a solution that reframes the delay as an opportunity, highlighting efficiency, long-term value, and strategic timing in a way that is both practical and persuasive. And by the time she finishes, the concern has softened into agreement, the hesitation replaced by renewed interest, and the donor nods, visibly reassured. Adrian watches this carefully, not interrupting, not correcting, simply observing, because this is not what he expected, not from someone with a past that barely exists on paper, not from someone who should still be adjusting to this world. And yet Lena moves through it as if she understands its language, its rhythm, its unspoken rules. Across the room, applause begins as the evening's main presentation is announced, drawing attention toward the stage. And as Adrian turns slightly to guide Lena forward, her phone vibrates once inside her clutch, subtle but unmistakable, and her fingers tighten just slightly around the fabric, her composure unshaken on the outside even as something shifts beneath it. Something urgent, something waiting. Adrian notices the movement, the smallest change in her posture, and his gaze sharpens just enough to catch it, not enough to expose it, but enough to remember it, because every detail matters, every inconsistency has a reason. And as they step toward the spotlight together,